We are live, 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 live. Hello, hello, everyone. How is everybody doing? This is Valerie Wilson Peterson with Hope Define Me. Testimony Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Can you believe it? 7 o'clock Eastern time. And we are live, and I've got a wonderful guest. I can't wait to introduce you to her. And who I just realized whose bio has escaped me. I'm like, that's okay. I missed it. It's all good. But anyway, so I'm so happy everybody is here and joining and popping on. And while everyone is popping on, I'm just going to take a moment and explain exactly what Testimony Tuesday is. And God put this on my heart. Believe it or not, it's coming up on a year. It was December 26th or something like that, right around Christmas. And he put on my heart, which he had done because I found back in journals back all the way dating back to 2014 when the Lord spoke to my heart, Testimony Tuesday, and I wrote it right on my journal. And so fast forward to last year, God said, "What are you waiting for?" And I said, "Lord, I want it perfect. I'm trying to do this and that and make it all nice." And he said, "I didn't ask you for perfect. I asked you to do it." So that was, the Holy Ghost spanking happened. And I wasn't really, it was a rough one, but you know what? I said, okay. And I went live the very next day with all its glitches and all its imperfectness. And it was perfectly imperfect. So, anyway, I'm just really happy to be having you guys on here right now. And my friend, Callie and I were talking and how far back we go. And I think it's back into 2010 and 11 that we knew each other. And let me go to my phone really quick here. So if you do see me going on my phone, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It is that I'm checking Facebook to make sure that we're live and doing everything great. But Kelly and I used to, we did a party plan together and we had a great time and we met and we just had a real click, a nice bond, and just I love her and she's beautiful. And I've seen her and followed her several times and different posts on Instagram and whatnot. And, oh, yeah, it's on my main page. And so we ended up reconnecting again. And I said, I would love, love, love. It's on my main page, Callie, if you want to share.
Yes, I just found it.
Thanks. And so I ended up sticking it on the main page. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to share it really quick to the Hope Define Me page. One second. But we found each other and I wanted so much for her to share her testimony. And she's so amazing because I reached out to her on my main page and I said, hey. And so we ended up, and I wanted so much. So we ended up connecting and she immediately said, yes, share it, please. I want to give my testimony. And she did. And it was great. Can you hear me okay, Callie?
I can.
Okay, hold on. And it was great. Can you hear me okay, Callie?
I can.
Okay, stand by. We're having just a little tiny fun thing here.
Okay.
There we go. I'm just going to bleep that down. Okay, so anyway, so that's how Callie and I reconnected after so many years. And I'd seen little bits and pieces on social media that she was going through some stuff, and I really wasn't sure what was going on. So I think if anyone saw the posting that I did on the Hope Define Me page, which is also a page that God created, it said, I think at the very top of it, I said, does anybody know what HHT is? I said, me either. And Callie had to explain it to me. I'm going to say it incorrectly. My wonderful guest tonight, Callie Plume, she lives in Texas. She got a wonderful husband, great kids, but she actually has HHT, which is hereditary hemorrhagic. You say it?
Hemorrhagic.
Yeah. And then
telangiectasia.
It's a big one. So that's probably why they made it HHT. But, it's like this big, ginormous word, but it's because it's a big, ginormous illness, disorder type thing. And I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about it so you guys can kind of understand. And we've got some parallels we're going to share with you. And so anyway, Callie, take it away. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and about HHT.
You got it. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I am pretty much a yes person anytime it comes to something that may help someone. And I think that's what makes the world go round. So I appreciate you doing this and taking the time to hang out with me. So HHT, the easiest way to say it, it's also known as Osler-Weber-Rendu. So a couple different names. But just to give you a little history on myself, I grew up in the Fort Worth area and went to Texas Tech. I played golf there. And then I came back home, met my husband. We have three beautiful children. We have two in the college frame, if you will. We've got one at University of Arkansas and one that's in the music world. And then we have one more little guy, Britton, at home, who will be 17 in January, which is, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my hands. I'm not ready to be an empty nester at all.
And you don't look a day over 20. So I'm like, how did that happen? How did that happen?
Well, thank you. You were my new best friend. So anyways, we live in Paradise, which is a little town northwest of Fort Worth. We raised our kids in the Keller, Fort Worth area and moved out here about 3 years ago, right when COVID happened, and sat on some land for a while. And we are just about to close on our home that we feel like maybe forever, but we'll see what happens. But it's been really fun. So we are about to move in this month, and I own a couple. Yeah, Christmas. My husband and I both. My husband's a firefighter paramedic of 20 years in Grapevine, and I own a couple of businesses myself, and we own a fencing company that he runs, and so it's never a dull moment. But we're super ready to just be in one place, not have our stuff in our shop or the house or the rent house. It's just everything's everywhere. So we're ready to settle down here in our house, get it done, and get moved in, and keep fighting this health fight and all the things. So that's a little about me.
Wonderful. I mean, now I think that's great. I didn't even know that about your husband. And you girls, ladies out there, check out her pages, because not only just her Instagram, but her Facebook page. She's got this beautiful family, this handsome husband, and she has, for all of us girls out there, shoppers, she has the burlapbarn.com. You got to check it out. She's got some super cute stuff on there. Super cute stuff. But aside from that, tell us, how did it happen for you? When did HHT rear its head into your life?
Really, obviously I've had it. It's hereditary. My dad gifted me that. Wasn't that so kind? And so I have that. I've had it my whole life, but it really didn't rear its head until I was closer to 30. And so and I had experienced what we had known as nosebleeds. That's how it was introduced. We saw an ENT locally, and he kind of oversaw us. And then my dad was diagnosed first, actually, through him. And then I was as well. And so that was kind of our first telltale sign. We just thought we had nosebleeds and that it was just something that happened. And when we realized that they happen a little more than they probably should, for a very consistent amount of time, that's where we both were tested and diagnosed with HHT. And there are some different strands of it, but overall, HHT as a whole is pretty much the same thing.
Right. And so has it always been that's just nosebleeds, or how does it progressively get worse? What happens?
So everybody is different. And for my dad, it's nosebleeds. A lot of them would last a while. And then they did get more frequent. For me, it was nosebleeds. And then I started getting what they call the telangiectasias, which are the little red bumps. And I don't know if y'all can see on my face, but I have some bumps. I have them all on my tongue and my lips. They're on my fingers, and they started to bleed as well. And so that was kind of when we were like, okay, there's a little bit more going on. And so for me, it was nosebleeds, which led to multiple surgeries, where they go in and do a cauterization process through your sinus nose cavity. And it is not a fun procedure. 10 out of 10 do not recommend for anyone. Anything up in your head, just not that any surgery is fun by any means, but it is it's a little bit of a lengthy recovery. And so that's kind of where it all started. That was the first thing, was noticing the nosebleeds and then the red um, telangiectasias.
Right. Oh my goodness. And then here you are, a busy woman, got kids that are, older, and you're running businesses and you got a household, and this kind of weighs you down. Does it have a flare up? Is it like a daily thing, a weekly thing, or you go months and you're doing great and then all of a sudden it pops up?
So it kind of depends. So I should have probably told you, my brother experiences them as well.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, so far, he is not as progressive as I am.
Mhm.
My dad is definitely more progressive than my brother, but I take the cake on um, trying to have the biggest trophy here, which I again don't recommend. So what really happens is, and kind of how I explain it, because I will tell you, I do not go alone to these appointments. My best friend Amy, or my husband, occasionally one of my parents go. Medical terminology is just way over my head, and I do get overwhelmed. And so having somebody there that can take the notes,
Mhm.
help me ask the questions, all the things. And so most of the time it was Amy, because my husband is at the firehouse and it is really hard, a lot of times to shift schedule. And she's kind enough to be as amazing enough to take me and war with me all the time at all these appointments. So what happens is, it starts with nosebleeds, and the reason that that's kind of a telltale sign in a lot of areas for people, because everyone has different stuff. Some people have HHT and never experience really anything. Some people will have it to the extreme where we've reached with my health journey, and our capillaries, if you will, our vessels throughout our entire body are basically malformed or weak, if you will. And so they bleed easily and they don't clot well. And so when they do end up forming this clot, that's where you get a telangiectasia, which is that red bubble.
Mhm.
And so with that, it leads into other things, right? So when your levels are down with your hemoglobin, that affects a lot of things. It's your iron, it's your blood,
Mhm.
it's your
Oh.
energy, fatigue,
Mhm.
appetite. But the main thing is iron as well. And so
Mhm.
mine reached a point about 7 years ago where I had to start doing IV infusions of iron, and I go every 4 to 6 weeks, and I've done that for about 7 years. And so, again, not everybody has that. Not everybody has it to that extreme. The one great thing that we know about HHT right now is, if you have, so for example, I have HHT. If we test our children for HHT, then they come back negative, then they are no longer going to pass that along. If it ends with them, it ends with them. If they do test positive for the gene mutation, then they have potential to transfer that to their children.
Oh,
So as
wow.
soon as it stops, then it stops. And unfortunately, my dad, has it pretty bad. And from what I understand, his grandparents did as well.
Mhm.
And so started there, did iron treatments, and then now have funneled into the treatment plan that I am just starting.
Yes, yes, I know. And I have to tell you guys, there is someone out there today that definitely is going to be needing this testimony, because the attacks that Kelly got today, that hit her today head on, were unbelievable. And we both were like, I'm like, I'm sensitive to this. Do you want to reschedule? And she's like, I am not letting the enemy have his way. And so, boom, like here we are. But so sometimes your body swells. I wish I could do a screen and show you a screenshot of what she posted me, sent to me. And it's amazing what happens in our bodies with these different things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you're always so positive and always smiling. And I love that about you. I mean, it's, people, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in life, right? And you can handle it one way or the other. And I'm sure it gets you down. And there's times you want to cry, or, or kick a door or whatever. But you know what? It's attitude is everything. And You have a choice. We have a choice, you know?
Right. Well, and I will own 100% that I have fought for my HHT and my health, and the angioedema that we experience as well. We're trying to see if that's, a linked thing where the body's swelling like you were talking about. And, it's one of those things where I I wanted to fight, right? I wanted answers. But you hit these dead ends, and there's a lot of them. I have been looked at like you would not believe when I walk into an office and look like I'm 9 months pregnant. Haven't been pregnant in 17 years. It's a lot. And so they look at you and they don't have answers, and they don't know what's going on, and you're tested and poked. Sorry, I'm going to turn my sound off there. Tested and poked and prodded, and you kind of get tired. And if it wasn't for Amy going with me, or my husband going with me, my support system, going, hey girl, it's time to get back up. Hey girl, it's time to make your appointment. Where do we stand with this? Where do we stand with this? And I'll own that there are days where they've had to do that many times. I tend to be positive, but when you feel about half of what you should be feeling, and you're going and going and hoping that this next visit is it, it's defeating. It is. And so I think it's just important to remember to lean on those people. I'm someone that has struggled with accepting help for a while, and I've had to lay that down. That's a pride thing, that I don't want to be in the way, because I know that I am stealing someone's joy or taking something away that, you know, there may be a stirring there, and they want me to keep fighting. And so we've reached that point. We were actually asked in 2017 about a trial for HHT, and it had only been going on for a couple of years. And the only HHT center in the US is here in Dallas. They have a huge resource center here. It's where they do all their testing. They work very, very closely with UT Southwest, which I I can only speak the most highly of them. They have been amazing trying to find answers, and going through a lot of the things. And now that my entire team is there, I truly feel like we're in the best hands. And sometimes it takes that, going through different doctors and different things until you find someone that they want to help. There's a reason that this is happening. And so this treatment is a drug that is paired with chemotherapy for colon cancer. It's called Avastin, and they have been doing it for almost 10 years now. And I am the 45th candidate that they have accepted in to do this in those about 8 years of sharing and starting the true study, which kind of sounds crazy, right? It's not a huge number. But I'm also super thankful that there's not more, because I'm glad that there's people that are not struggling that badly, or hopefully the people that are receiving help, it's not needed, if you will. So after this study has gone on, we accepted that, and I started treatment last Monday. And they are also giving me 750 units of iron on top of my treatment for the first few sessions for that. And so that is a lot of iron at one time. It's a lot of new being introduced to my body, but we are insanely hopeful, first of all. But I think it took my first treatment for me to actually say, I feel at peace about this now. I felt peace, but I didn't feel complete peace. And if I'm honest, I think it's because it's still new, right? Like there's no study of this, 20 years down the road, the longevity of what this could do if you were on this drug for, 2 times a year or 10 times a year, for a lengthy amount of time. And so at some point you have to realize that advocate, right? That voice inside, where what I'm doing is not working. And for 7 years, we've been doing this same thing, same amount of iron, same amount. And so that's where I say I feel like our fight has truly just begun, but in the most positive way, because all heads are together now, right? And all care is in one place. And so I have been quite sick. I don't totally believe that it's with medication. We've been struggling with some things in my health before I started, but overall, very, very much at peace with our decision and fighting it with this new drug that has been showing to strengthen our vessels. It is curing the telangiectasias. It is taking people off of iron completely.
Wow.
It is giving people their life back. They are calling it a miracle. And of course, doctors can't say that. But they are. And I don't want to set you up for failure. This is what's happened so far. And I'm like, no, I love it. Like, this is good. I want people to know that this exists and that there are miracles in this, and that the studies are there and the time is being put into it.
Mhm.
It's important. It's important to know that you have people that are still trying to get to the root of all of it.
Mhm. Now, you had mentioned to me, if I heard correctly, when we spoke earlier in the week when you were really sick, is it like kind of a combination, almost like a chemotherapy that they're giving you?
So it is not a chemotherapy. So there is no side effect as far as what a chemo patient would be receiving.
Mhm.
Um, this drug is paired with the true chemotherapy for cancer, for colon cancer. And so, as far as we understand, it's just the needed drug to go with it, to make the formulation.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Hmm?
Does that make sense?
It does. Because those doctors and scientists and chemists, they know like this over here does this and this medication over here does this. And then hey, you know what? If we put these two together, it might do this. And that's how these
Right,
things happen. So hey,
right.
and for you, it's like, sure, I'll try anything. Let's see if we can't get this
Yes.
party started. So yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Oh my
Right,
goodness. Well, I'm glad you were sharing that because I want people to kind of understand, because we all walk through different things in life, and what's interesting, and I mean, there's so many different drugs, illnesses, and so forth out there that, and somebody, we all get something, and we're all dealing with something. It's just the way the world is, the way life is. We all get, no one gets out alive, but no one, we're all going through something. But I
right,
think what it does is it shows, number one, what a good fighter you are, and you've got to keep a good attitude. But also, very importantly, like you said earlier, you've got to be an advocate for your health. You just can't sit back and go, okay, okay, no. Make those phone calls, look around, see this, see that, call that, get this appointment, and be proactive, right?
right. Oh, 100%. I mean, I love my team of doctors, but they're not going to call me and remind me to come in and do those things. And so, and that's kind of where I just felt like I was living at these doctor's appointments, and I just was like, man, I got to unplug for a little bit. And when you unplug, it's not their job to plug you back in, unfortunately. It's up to you. And I am big on advocating for yourself. I advocate for everyone myself. And that's what, Amy, my girlfriend, always talks about. She's like, you advocate for everybody. You have got to advocate for yourself. You have got to say, no, that's not okay. I'm not okay with this answer. I don't feel like this is going in the right direction. Don't sit there for 7 years and just expect to continue to go and not get better if you're not pushing for more answers. And so I'm super grateful to have people in my circle that can hold me accountable to knowing what I deserve, but also can just be the gentle reminder of, hey, girl, where do we stand? Hey, when's your next appointment? I need that personally. I'm very driven. And I'm grateful for that drive. A lot of my drive is into my work and into things like that. And so I get busy, and we're all busy, right? And we make ourselves even busier. I don't know why we do it, but we do it. And so just implementing those healthy boundaries of my health is a priority. me feeling great is a priority, and everybody's feeling great is going to be different. Everybody, what they're walking out is different. They may be walking through serious grief, and experiencing different things, or they may, have just started a new job and things are really, really great. It's just, no matter what, you've got to advocate, stay the course, don't stop fighting. And I think I'm there. Unfortunately, it's taken me a little bit of time to make me a priority. Busy mom, busy business owner, the life. And loving on people, that's our job. That's why we're here. And so I get caught up loving on everybody else and forget to love on myself. And so, if there's anything I can say, you matter. You're enough. Fight for yourself. Fight for your health. Fight for what you believe for you, and don't give up until you feel like you are on the same page, working towards the same goals. I can't wait to see what this medicine is going to do for me. I can't wait to know what it feels like to be at a completely full tank. I've been operating at half a tank my entire adult life.
Oh, wow.
And so, I'm looking forward to that. And I think without a little bit of push, I probably wouldn't be here yet. And so again, find your people. If you need help in that area of advocating for yourself, find the people that will stay on you and hold you accountable, to getting those answers. Cause I didn't for a long time. And I think that's probably where progression happened, over time of just not fighting harder.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes my husband and I were just talking about this the other day, that the medical field, I mean, the doctors can only do so much what the doctors can do, but they
Right.
also get very caught up in this world all protocol. So they look at something and go, okay, A to B, B to C, that must equal this, so you need to do that.
Right.
But there's gray areas that need to be
Oh,
looked
yeah.
at. And
Oh,
doctors need
totally
to
agree.
listen to their patients. Yeah. Everybody's
And you have
body.
to find one that you jive with, right? Like I might go to one and man, I love this doctor. Like we just clicked. Bedside manner was great. We had a great time. I'm one of those that likes to laugh. So the really serious demeanor is typically not my person. I want someone that I feel comfy with and that we can have a casual conversation and it feels right. And so that's another part of that, going somewhere where you feel like you are important and you're not another number, because the medical world is changing. It has been changing, sadly. And so I'm grateful for the ones that are there because they love it and there because they truly want to fight for their patients. And you can tell a difference, right? I mean, I'm sure everyone's experienced something with an appointment or a medical professional that it just didn't go well, and that's okay. You just got to find a different one.
That's right. Second opinions are completely fine. You can have a third, fourth, and fifth opinion too. Never feel like what they say, if you're not comfortable with it, if you don't feel it in here, if you don't get that comfort level, right, that peace, then maybe you need another opinion. It's not,
Right.
Ditz in the other doctor or anything, or trying to, throw any shade on him. You're just basically like, okay, let me hear that same exact thing from someone else and see if, okay, that's two. But
Right. Right. Oh, yeah.
our health is so important, and your husband, and it's nice when you have your family support, your husband's support, your children's support, your good friend Amy's support. I mean, that's wonderful, because
Yes.
that helps amazingly. When you're in it, you feel like you're alone. It's such a hard road anyway. When you go through, for me, it was years ago, like I went through the cancer, and actually, I guess today was today. Today I think I'm 9 years cancer free. And
What?
I think
Today?
it's today. Yeah, it's not about
That
me
is
too.
so cool.
But it's just, you need thank you. But you need your tribe. You need your girl gang. You need your support people supporting.
Yes.
And if they're not your people, find new people. But
Yes. Yes. And not everybody is your people.
that's
I've had to learn that. I'm, in 40s and I'm like, I just want everyone to be friends. Why can't we all just be friends and everything's great? And there's people that are just not your people. And that is okay, right?
right. It's okay.
Okay.
It's coming
Okay.
to terms with
So
that. Okay. It's coming to terms with that. Okay. You're like me, it's like, why can't we just all be friends, but it doesn't always work that way. And it's okay. God
it
knows.
is okay.
God knows, because he'll put the people in your life. And that's why Testimony Tuesday is so important, because everyone walks through something, and we go through everything. We go through is not wasted. Like it says in the Bible, a tear is not wasted, because whatever we've gone through, what you're going through, Callie, is God's going to bring someone right alongside of you, or you're going to connect with, that you're going to be able to pour into and help. And that's the beauty of it. That's really
Right.
the it, is that
I
we
agree.
help other people.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
tell us a tiny little bit. Let's just deviate a little bit. Tell us about your burlap barn.
You're so sweet. Um, so the Burlap Barn is, we have a little boutique out here in Decatur, and we are a host of a lot of local vendors, along with some boutique vendors. And we have about a 1,500 square foot building that we have merchandise where everybody's stuff is together, but there is a ton of handmade, just special eclectic things that you can't find everywhere. And it started in 2013. I was journaling and the Lord put the name The Burlap Barn on my heart. I snagged all of the social handles that I could. I had no idea what I was doing. And then at the time, was heavily in marketing. So I knew to go ahead and snag the domain and just kind of mentioned it to a couple of my girlfriends. And we moved out to Paradise in 2020, right when COVID happened. And one of the main things that I believe so far out of COVID has been that people actually had to slow down. They had to realize how to create some busyness, right? We were all at home, and I think that gave a lot of people a stirring where they found they were really good at a craft, or they really loved to read and didn't know, or whatever it was. And I thought, okay, my golf mate, Matt's at their house, and she said, I just found the perfect building for the Burlap Barn. Girl, let me tell you, we lived there 3 weeks. We were living in a camper, all of our stuff in storage. And I'm like, what is happening? And of course, I've got to go, right? I have to go check this out. No's not an option. So we go check this building out. I talked to my husband after about 2 days of trying to figure out how I was going to bring this opportunity up to him, right? It's a great opportunity. And so end up signing papers 2 days later, and we opened the Burlap Barn. Little did I know, full circle, this Burlap Barn was, again, just a love on people. I had 54 vendors on the day that we opened. So in 3 weeks, we were able to create this space and bring in all of these people. And let me tell you, a lot of them found their craft during COVID, and they are insanely talented and just never knew they had the skill or the talent or the interest. And so that is what the Burlap Barn is all about, and how it kind of came to be. And so we are loving it. We're in Decatur, storefronts in Decatur. You can shop us online.
Found your online. Yeah, I put that on the Hope to Find Me page in the feed. I put your .com. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And we found a need too at the barn. Living out here, there was a lot of people wanting t-shirts and spirit wear and things like that. And so we opened a printing company out here in Decatur as well. And so we print wholesale and retail, and it's
Because you
just
weren't busy enough, right? Because you were
never
not
a dull
busy.
moment, girl.
Oh my gosh, I love that you're doing that. That is
Yes,
so
ma'am.
great.
Thank you.
Is that
Thank
part of
you.
the burlap too? Can we find your spirit wear on the burlap site?
You can. It's actually a completely different entity for business purposes, but it is called the Lyrical Spirit. It's also called TLS. I can go down and tag it once we get off of here, for y'all to go hang out and love on us if you feel led.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling led. 'Tis the season. So yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yes.
God is so good. So, and speaking of the season and our Lord and our Savior and everything, with everything that you walk through, can you give some examples of where you really felt like God like showed up, like He was like such a tangible presence for you that you just knew that this, God was there and He was with you during these times.
I can tell you that two of the biggest things that I like, revelation, girl, just hit me over the head like a frying pan every time was when I was getting infusions. It happened almost every time I was there. I was in a very large infusion center, and I was surrounded. Still am. Now we're in private units doing the treatment that I'm doing. But um, outside of that, before, for those 7 years, I would be in rooms of people that were truly fighting for their life. And, oh, sorry. Um, it was very humbling um, to watch these people suffer.
Mm.
While I'm receiving treatment for iron, and for a long time, I struggled with my worthiness of being in the room. Um, and that was a me problem, not anything that anyone ever, made me feel, but I just almost felt guilty. Um, you see the sickest of the sick and the ones that are ringing the bell. I've got to experience multiple bell rings and celebrations. Um, and I think for me, that is where I have seen him the most, is where I'm stressed and I'm frustrated and I'm tired. And I'm going into treatment feeling exhausted and just praying that I can get a little bit of I'm not a sit down person. I'm just not. I love to go and go, and hence why I put off my health sometimes. And so I just get super focused on work and go. And he slowed me down a lot. He humbled me in areas that I had no idea um, that I needed to be humbled in. And so I think just getting to experience meeting these people and getting to know their story, because we were sitting next to each other for hours, or talking to their family, or people receiving their first treatment and their family not getting to sit with them because of COVID. I just wanted to be there for them. I can't imagine going into my treatment alone. And so I just felt like he had me there to help love all these people, and also just hug me sometimes when I needed it most. And so I really think that's where I watched him move the most in me during really any of this. Everybody's fighting, and no one's fight is worse than the other. And I would never want to claim those words, but there are just some things that seem so sad and unfair sometimes. And so I think it really is a true testament to your faith when you sit there like, I can do this. Like, they're literally fighting for their life. And I'm stressed out and frustrated about iron. And so I think if anything, it would probably be in those rooms for the last 7 years, every month. Using it as an opportunity to love on them, sometimes an opportunity for growth or a lesson, or so many things.
You know what I think is so great is how God used you. If that's your heart, Callie, your heart has always been to pour into people and encourage them. And God had you there for such a time as that,
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
No, you are fine.
Wasn't prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say that was part of it.
Holy Spirit, he'll show up sometimes, every time.
Yes.
He's so good. But we're all here on this planet to help one another and love on one another and be kind to one another and do what we can to make everyone else's journey just a little easier. And even when we walk through stuff that really kind of, is unpleasant and not great, there's always someone worse. And it
Yeah.
is humbling. So instead of, having the woe is me, attitude and Debbie Downer, instead be thankful,
Yeah.
God
Agreed.
woke us up today. We're breathing. Let's go find somebody
We're
we can
here.
bless, right? we're breathing. Let's do this thing. Oh my goodness. God is so good. Well, before we, close up or anything like that, let me ask you, I love when you said that. And you've been such an encourager right now, even tonight on your testimony. But if someone's struggling right now, whatever it is they're struggling with, whether it's an illness or a diagnosis or sadness or something, what kind of nugget, what kind of encouragement can you give to them? Since you are an encourager, what would you say?
Um, the fight is always worth it.
Mhm.
It's always worth it. When you stop fighting, that's when the enemy comes in, right?
Yeah.
Um, he's going to come in the good. He's going to come in the bad. He's alive and well. And so his voice tends to want to be louder in those moments, right? When I'm frustrated or hurting, it's one of those things where it's a choice every day to be happy, y'all. It is. And I'm reminded by my dad constantly to, if I call him and I just need to get it off my chest, he quickly will remind me that there is always a lesson. Right. There's always going to be a lesson. And so if you can keep the fight, and sometimes when you're too weak to do it, ask for your people. Your people will be the people that show up. They want to help you. There's a reason that they care. And
Mhm.
so don't block people's blessings. That's probably the other thing I would say is we're supposed to do this with our tribe. We're supposed to be able to have that circle. And I want to remind people that social media is hard. Social media shows a lot of um, I try to be careful with what I say, but a lot of the only good is what we see. And I want to always be my most authentic self. And I have struggled to share my journey publicly. This is actually the first time I've done it. I do not want to feel like a burden. And so if there's anything I can say is you're not a burden. The fight is worth it. And when you can't carry yourself, your tribe will. So be honest with them. Be your most authentic self with them. Let them know if you're hurting, if you're sad, if you need help. Let them know when you get your job promotion. They want to celebrate you. Let them know when the good things are happening too. And if you are around the right people, then you are going to have accountability. And they're going to hold you to your dreams. They're going to hold you to that fight. They're going to hold you to what you told them you wanted. And if you're not receiving that, then you need to pray for new people and who it is that you need to surround yourself with that will reinforce what
Mhm.
we already know. But sometimes we don't have the faith to believe when we're in that low spot because the mountaintops are great, y'all, right? Like mountaintops are great. And I think sometimes in the mountaintop we forget, right? What it took to get up there, but to also know that we were never promised easy. And there's a lesson in the valley and there's a lesson at the top. And so walking away with whatever the lesson is, and that's what I was continually, I think, just reminded going into my treatment is he wanted me to talk these things out and journal these things out and get it off. Like I'm humbled by this. I, got so many good things. I learned so many incredible stories. I learned and met so many incredible families that I still communicate with today. But don't get caught up in the comparison game. And that's where I was going with this social media. It's very, very easy. What you're going through is real, and it's not worse or better or anything. It's just real. And so, don't feel like you can't lean on your people or that you're a burden when it looks like everything's rainbows for them and you don't want, to be a cloud or a dark cloud. That is not why we're on this earth. You are not supposed to have to do this by yourself. And so I just want to encourage y'all to make sure that you're staying true to yourself and surrounding yourself with people, not just that are like-minded, but that truly want what's best for you and will hold you accountable to that. And I think that's what I've found, as I've gotten older, is it's not about this big circle of keeping people happy. It's about the true, genuine friendships and the quality of them, not the quantity, which is where I feel like social media gets it a little wrong for us in our hearts sometimes.
I agree. That was so well said. Thank you for that. It is
Yeah.
so true, though. It even says, I think it's Revelation 12:11, that they triumphed over him, the enemy, by the blood of the Lamb, Jesus, and by the word of their testimony. Our testimony saves other people and helps other people. By you being able to come on here and be your authentic self and be transparent, lets people realize that you're vulnerable. They can be vulnerable too, and it's okay. No one's life is perfect. And Facebook has been known as fake book. So it's just the truth. The truth will always come out,
Yes, that is true. Very, very true.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I appreciate you. This has been so neat. I've been excited to share. So thank you. And I hope hope I made sense. There's a lot, and I try to leave out all the medical stuff and just keep it as easy mainstream as possible. So
yeah, no, you did great. You did great. And one of the things that when we first spoke the other day, and you were telling me how long you've been been really dealing with your HHT. I was sitting there doing the math and I go, she's almost on 12 years. And then it made me think of Matthew 9 and the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years. So I'm believing and standing on that for you. Her
wow.
healed her. Yes.
Yes.
Jesus looked at her and said, your faith has healed you. And Callie, you've got such great faith that your faith will heal you. I'm believing it. I'm standing.
Thank you. Amen. I'll claim that.
It's for you. Oh my goodness. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, Callie, so much. And everybody, all of her information, her website, and all her fun stuff for the Burlap Barn, and her lyrical spirit wear, which I'm excited about seeing, is going to be on there too. So just go through the comments, or she'll do a post on the Hope Define Me Facebook page, and you'll be able to click on it and go and see that as well, because I'll be there shopping for sure. I know. But thank you for that.
Thank you. Your support is so sweet. I appreciate that.
You are welcome. Thank you for being on and being on an hour early in your time zone. And thank you everyone for watching and tuning in. And do me a favor, please like and share the video. Share it, because you never know who needs to see it. Someone might have missed it. And if you didn't catch the whole thing, please go back and watch the replay. And it'll also be uploaded onto YouTube on my YouTube channel by the same name of Hope Define Me. So thank you for joining me. If you've got a testimony you'd like to share, and God has really put it on your heart that it's time for you to be transparent and vulnerable and share your testimony, reach out to me on Hope Define Me, and I'll be happy to chat with you about that. And Callie, thank you for being on. I love you.
I love you too, friend. Thank you.
Keep me posted.
You got it. I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.